From Farmers Branch City Hall, this is Council Recap here on FBTV. Hello again, everyone. I'm Jeff Brady, your Director of Communications, and we're reviewing the City Council meeting held Tuesday, October 25th, right here at City Hall. Now, in Council Recap, we have a concise summary, basically, of the agenda, and during the next few minutes, hopefully, we will be able to offer a little more context on the items that were discussed and the action taken. So, to begin, during ceremonial items at this meeting, the mayor recognized Sarah LeClaire for donating a You Are Beautiful art panel to the city, valued at $3,500. It will be displayed in the Grove at Mustang Station sometime in the near future. And the City Council then voted unanimously to accept this donation by a vote of 5-0. The other ceremonial item was to recognize the winners of the city's 2022 Art Scavenger Hunt. And those winners and their work, by the way, is on exhibit now in City Hall in the lobby. During executive session, there were several items discussed, including reviewing the interim city manager's duties, evaluating the final two candidates for the position of city manager, and we'll have more about that in a minute, and also discussion concerning action that might be taken regarding the eligibility of Council Member Tracy Williams based on her family's recent relocation out of District 4. And during the executive session, Council Member Williams resigned from her seat on the council. And we'll have more on that coming up in just a few minutes. Now, for the consent agenda items that were up for approval during the meeting, consent item H1 was to consider excusing Mayor Robert Dye's absence from the October 11th regular council meeting. Consent item H2 was to consider excusing the absence of Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Williams from the regular session of the October 11th regular council meeting. And consent item H3 was to consider authorizing the purchase of uniforms and related equipment for the fire department from Galls LLC in excess of $50,000. Agenda item H4 was to consider authorizing the purchase of EMS fire department medical supplies for the fire department from Bound Tree Medical in excess of $50,000. Consent item H5 was to consider authorizing the agreement for medical direction for the fire department from Beacon Emergency Services Team, DBA Best EMS, in the amount of $52,932. Agenda item H6 was to consider authorizing the agreement for 90 NFPA 1582 compliant wellness and fitness exams for fire department staff from LifeScan in the amount of $61,190. And agenda item H7 was to consider authorizing the purchase of 29 automated external defibrillators, or AEDs, and 4 life packs from Stryker in the amount of $194,600. Again, this is for our fire department. And consent item H8 was to consider authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Teague, Knoll, and Perkins for design of the Denton Drive Infrastructure Improvements Project. And agenda item H9 was to consider appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission, Historical Preservation and Restoration Board, Parks and Recreation Board, and the Senior Advisory Board. However, this item was moved to the regular agenda, so we'll address that in just a minute. In the meantime, City Council approved all of the consent items unanimously by a vote of 5-0. Now, moving on to the regular agenda items, agenda item J1 was to review a biannual update on Planning and Zoning Commission's work program for the fiscal year 2021 through 2022. And agenda item J2 was to discuss and receive a presentation from staff regarding upcoming public engagement push number 2 activities related to the citywide comprehensive plan update. Agenda item J3 was to receive a recommendation from the Redistricting Committee regarding their recent review of the proposed redistricting maps for the city of Farmers Branch, those maps being 7, 8, and 9, and to consider adopting the recommended map establishing the city districts in accordance with the city charter. After a lengthy discussion and many citizen comments, the mayor made a motion and the city council voted unanimously to take no action on this item. However, they directed the Redistricting Commission to reconvene and consider all 3 maps again, based on the original checklist of district map requirements. After the meeting, I spoke to the Redistricting Commission Chairman, Bronson Blackson, about the next phase.
So tonight, the council decided that we are going to back to the drawing boards with consideration of maps 7, 8, and 9, and that we're going to first put them up to the checklist, that we have a little checklist, and that we will hear it publicly again, and maybe we're going to have it in a little bit bigger venue, maybe here downstairs or maybe at the library where more people can attend and more people can be involved. So I would expect this process needs to wrap up rather quick. I would expect this meeting to occur within the next 2 to 3 weeks and council's action to occur sometime before January 1st.
The council then moved to agenda item H9, which, as you remember, was moved from consent to the regular agenda, and it's regarding appointments to several city boards. Now, the council approved this item by a vote of 3 to 2. And then subsequent to this, the mayor shared an update on the search for a new city manager. Now, this was discussed during the executive session, but the mayor felt that the city deserved an update on this important process. Basically, after a lengthy search and in-person visits by the final 2 candidates just last week, the council agreed that neither would be a good fit for this position at this time. And I spoke to Mayor Dye about the next steps.
Well, the big announcement is no city manager, at least at this time. You know, we want to thank Atheon, council, staff, our residents, everyone that put in so much time and energy to developing the requirements to be our next city manager, putting in the time for interviews, meeting with candidates, staff, having candid conversations with them, and then us for allowing us to really get an understanding of the finalists that we interviewed. And, you know, what came from all those meetings was we had yet to find the right person, and council was unanimous in that decision. And so what we're going to do is tap the brakes, let the job market waters kind of cool, because so many people are moving around, especially in city manager's position and in city administration, and we want to make sure that we hire the right person. So what we're going to do is lean on some of our internal staff that we know are capable of continuing to carry this city forward and carrying out the policies that we put in place. And so we're going to lean on them in the interim and reevaluate late first quarter, early second quarter. When do we want to go out with who, and what does that look like? You know, address that situation at that time. But we're confident in the individuals inside this building to continue to lead us so that the city doesn't have any missteps, because we have so many great things going on, so many big projects that need to be completed, and they are just enthusiastic about seeing those through. And, you know, we're fine leaning on them to take us there.
And at this point in the meeting, a motion was made to accept Councilmember Tracy Williams' resignation. The vote to accept was unanimous, 5-0. And then right after, a motion was then made to cancel the scheduled hearing related to her eligibility. It was a moot point at this point, and it was approved by a unanimous vote of 5-0. So that will do it for this council recap. As a reminder, every regular meeting of our Farmers Branch City Council can be seen live on FBTV. That is Spectrum Channel 16 here in Farmers Branch, AT&T UVerse Channel 99 throughout the Metroplex, or you can find us online at www.farmersbranchtx.gov. This meeting was also streamed live on Vimeo and YouTube. Now, this program, the Council Recap, will be made available every day at about 10 a.m. and then again at 2:30 p.m. here on FBTV. And the full City Council meeting will also be available for viewing 7 days a week at 6 p.m. In the meantime, the next regular meeting of the City Council will be held November 15th of this year, starting at 6 p.m. here at the Farmers Branch City Hall. Keep in mind, we only have one meeting per month in November and again in December. And please note that all of our meetings are subject to change, so check the city's website for updates or call City Hall here at 972-247-3131 for more information. Until then, I am Jeff Brady, and you're watching continuing coverage of our Farmers Branch City Council here on FBTV. So please stay with us.